Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, The Revision Desk. We are doing a series of the Constitution regarding the political science of polity. This is my explanation of what I understood, what I learned in my classes. And this is useful for you to have a quick summary kind of revision in any of the competitive exams that you are preparing. Mostly for UPSC, for staff selection, for UGC and much more. So, and also, friends, this channel focuses on making topics simple, audio based, so you can just listen without much visual presentation, and also covers current affairs, past year questions, and much more. So, I hope you like my initiative. Kindly do support me by subscribing and sharing this channel to your friends. In the last few classes, or you can say few videos, we have seen about the polity, the philosophy of the constitution in the polity subject, and also the recent video was about the basics of constitution. Today's video could be a bit lengthy. It is about the historical development of the Constitution of India, like the current government, the current form of constitution, as well as a parliamentary form, whatever we are seeing these days, how it evolved over the years is what we are going to see. Okay, so let us go back to the almost 400 years back. So 1600, the East India Company has come to India because it was formed by Queen Elizabeth I for trade in India. Then they got in 1765. The East India Company got Diwani rights of Bengal. What is Diwani rights? It is the rights to collect the revenue as well as take up the civil matters in hand. So they mostly it's revenue related. So the East India Company EIC got the revenue collection authority rights in Bengal, Bihar, Orissa. Okay, then came it was going on. The East India Company had its own plus minus. They were the British government or the crown was not getting proper reports from them. So in order to regulate the functioning of the company, the new act called the Regulating Act 1773, right, it was formed. Okay, so this act, it brought the company under British supervision. Okay, it is not under total control. It is just a supervision of the, you can say, of the company. Okay, so this has because of this regulating act in 1773, the governor of Bengal became the Governor General of Bengal. Okay, and the Supreme Court was established in Calcutta, but with limited jurisdiction. Then in 1784, just a minute, friends, I'll be a bit going up and down. So yeah, in 1784 we got the Pitt's India Act. It was from the Prime Minister of the time, William Pitt. So Pitt's India Act, this act started dual control, mixed company and the British. How did they control? They had a court of directors for the commercial affairs of all the profit or earnings of the company that court of directors used to see. Then political affairs are taken care on the behalf of British government by Board of Control. Okay, and the Board of Control had a president who is the Secretary of the State. And Board of Control, it is the main which used to supervise the activities of the company. So Pitt's Act 1784 brought dual form of government in which the company actively supervised commercial activities by court of directors and political functions by the British government, by the Board of Control. Then what happened after the Pitt's Act? In 1813, Charter Act, there are series of Charter Acts. So Charter Act 1813 was formed. Here still the company rule was continuing. Okay, so the company rule was still on the way, and it was not yet cancelled because only the British government had only a few supervision powers. So rule of the company continued. Okay, the thing was, because of the Charter Act 1813, the company monopoly on the Indian trade got over. So it had only the monopoly in tea and in China trade. Apart from that, the other monopoly on other parts of trading activities are closed for the East India Company. Before 1813 Charter, in the Charter Act of 1793, the Crown has extended the trading or you can say the rights of trade for the East India Company for max 20 years. It renewed the license for 20 years. So it is a kind of first step to stop the influence or to close the company. Then in the Charter Act 1813, they restricted the monopoly of the company to tea and China trade. Because at that time Industrial Revolution started, Napoleon conquest had happened. That's why Britain could not take its goods to France. Therefore, the other traders needed to find new markets, and uh, even the Britain government the British government want to expand its missionaries, the Christianity, provide education literacy in India, and therefore 1 lakh rupees per year was allocated to spend on the spread of education in the country. So in the 1813 charter, 1 lakh amount was fixed for spreading of the education. Okay. Then came the Charter Act 1833. Here what happened? Almost the rule of the company was over. The East India Company is totally closed. It came in 1600, closed in 1833, and it just became an administrative body. It is no longer a business related or trade body. It is an administrative body. Now, in 1833 Charter Act, the company administration is centralized. So it is decentralized. So the Governor of Bengal became the Governor General of India. Okay, Governor of Bengal became Governor General of India. So the Governor General of India, he had both civil and military powers, and Lord William Bentinck became the first Governor General of India. We need to always remove that. Okay, we need to always remember that. So before 1833, any act or any laws which were passed before 1833 was called as regulations, and any laws passed on or after 1833 are called as act. Okay, because act are related to submitted under the review of British. Every every law drafted must be submitted before the Crown for approval to become an act. Okay, and in this Charter 1833 it is the first time the open competition for selection of civil servants in India was proposed. Okay, despite earlier times, the British officials or British citizens used to be the civil servants, but for the first time in 1833 Charter, it was proposed to have an open competition for the selection of civil servants in India. But the Council of Directors didn't agree, so it didn't go through. But at least the motion has come, right? This Charter 1833 also focused on abolition of slavery. Okay, and it also got the first law commission. Lord Macaulay was the first law commission. So this was one of the most important charters, Charter Act 1833. Then comes Charter Act 1853. This is also one of the important years. Here, company rule still, you can say, the British rule is more further strong, and in this year, civil service got opened through competitive exams in India. Okay, the civil services was able to conduct for the Indian people, so open competition for the civil services posts for Indians, and it was recommended by Macaulay Committee in 1854. Okay, then the Crown rule in this year, this Charter Act 1853 marks the beginning of parliamentary system in India. Here what happened, the Governor General of India, who is the topmost authority to oversee the functions of India, who has civil and military powers, he established a council, okay, that has a legislative wing and an executive wing. Legislative wing is for legislative functions. It is called Legislative Council. It has 6 members, and additional 6 members also were there. Then Executive Council is for the executive functions. Both can take executive functions, and in the legislative functions, again it has 2, official and non-official. The non-official members category, Indians could be nominated. Remember, they are not elected; they are nominated. In the later act, they got elected, but in 1853 Act, Indians only got nominated to the non-official members of the Legislative Council. Okay, and then this Government of India Act or the Charter Act 1853 continue to provide governance in this manner. In the Governor General of India has the utmost authority with two councils to support him, legislative and executive. Legislative further has official and non-official. Okay. Then the year came 1858. This is also one of the most important, you can say, aspects, the crown rule. The crown rule is established here. Okay, so you can say 1858 is the strongest years in which the crown rule officially began in India. So till 1833 it was still operating. See, till 1833 the East India Company was acting also as an administrative body, right? So 1857 it slowly got it reduced the influence, and by 1858 totally it was closed. And by this 1858 Act, because of the first war of independence, because of Sepoy Mutiny, they enacted the Government of India Act 1858, and it is also called as the Queen Victoria's Proclamation. It is also called as the Act for Good Governance of India. In this act, it is declared that they have no interest in annexing Indian states, so they don't want to touch the Indian states which are already there. And the Governor General of India has become the Viceroy. So Lord Canning was the first Viceroy of Crown Rule India. Okay, and here what happened? The highest authority is the Crown. They have abolished the diarchy system. What is the diarchy? Which we have seen above, that the ruling was divided between the Council of Ministers and Board of Directors. That was abolished. So the Crown was the highest one. Crown is the topmost. Below it was the Secretary of the State. The Secretary of the State was a cabinet member of the British cabinet. He used to stay in the city London. Then the Secretary of the State has under him a Viceroy who is staying in Delhi. He is acting as the agent of the Secretary. This Viceroy has a council. He has Legislative Council and Executive Council. Okay, and governors used to be appointed for ruling the states, and their governors were guided by the Executive Council. Okay, then only the Viceroy councils, okay, they had this nomination for the Legislative Council and Executive Council. Nominations were given to the Indians to the Legislative Council. Okay, and the state government, the state Legislative Council got elections. Nomination was in 1858. Elections was in 1919. Okay, do not get confused in that. Then comes one more important thing. Then comes the Morley Minto reforms, 1909. Okay, this introduced separate elections for Muslims. 1909 is a Morley Minto reforms. The Morley Minto reforms has one of the most effect in the working of the crown rule in India. Okay, so before that I forgot to mention, after 1858 Government of India Act, there is one more act called Indian Councils Act 1861. Here the Legislative Council was expanding. So the Viceroy who has his Legislative Council and Executive Council, right? So Legislative Council has official and non-official. The official members, you can say they 3 official members can have 3 Indians who can be nominated. Okay, 3 Indians can be nominated. So in the 3 Indians, friends, in case if I have said in the 1853 Act that for the Governor General of India Council, okay, I think I have made a small mistake. Just remember, Governor General of India Council under the Charter Act 1853 also has Legislative Council, Executive Council. Their Legislative Council has 6 members and additional 6 members. The additional 6 members used to act as a mini parliament. Okay, Indians were not much introduced at that time then, but in the Indian Council at 1861, in the Legislative Council, the non-official members, Indians can be nominated. So, Raja of Benares, Maharaja of Patiala, and Sir Dinakar Rao were nominated to the non-official members of the Viceroy as per Indian Council Act 1861. Then, in the initial days, in the starting days, mostly during the year of 1773, where Bengal governor got the highest authority and Madras and Bombay were subordinate to him, that has been removed, and now all 3 presidencies became equal. Okay, and also in this year, in during this time period itself, during the time of 1859 and 1861, the crown brought the concept of portfolio system. That is, every minister and every member under the viceroy got in charge of a certain department or more departments, and viceroy can issue ordinances for emergency which can last for 6 months. These all developments happened in the Indian Council Act 1861. Then comes 1892. In this, what happened? More Indians included in the council, and they can represent. They can represent the budget. They can discuss the budget. Okay, and for the non-official members, the elections were indirect elections. Then came the Morley-Minto Reform 1909. This Morley-Minto Reform 1909 increased the Legislative Council members from 16 to 60, and non-official members also got increased. Okay, then first time here, Indians were made part of Executive Council. Till now, we were part of Legislative Council, non-official. But from Morley-Minto reforms, we are also allowed in the Executive Council. And first Indian to become the Executive Council member is Satyendra Prasad Sinha. He is taken as a law member. Okay, but we Indians can't discuss in the budget certain terms like armed forces, foreign affairs, and affairs of Indian state, which are overseen by British. And still the viceroy has the power, and ultimately the power was with the crown. That was, we need to remember. And in this Monte, why I'm getting Monte? Because maybe Monte Kelsey is a common word, maybe common medicine which I usually use in the family, so I'm getting that name, sorry for that. But Morley-Minto, okay, in the Morley-Minto reforms, the first time separate electorals for Muslims has been suggested, like the communal electorate. And again here, then comes the 1919 Montague-Chelmsford reforms. It is the Government of India Act 1919. Again, the diarchy in the provinces, the shared governance, like people, dual administration with central state, has been brought up. In this 1919, you can say the Public Service Commission. Under this 1919 Government of India Act, the Public Service Commission for recruiting civil servants has been established in the year 1926. Okay, then we had 3 roundtable conferences for the in India, right? If it comes in the modern history, I don't remember it right now, but I only noted down in my notes that the roundtable conferences, all the 3, for the which was done for introducing the bicameral legislation in India, has been attended by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, then next we have this. Next we have this 1935. In the year 1935, we have this bicameralism. So it means that parliament form of government. Okay, it gave the provincial autonomy, and we need to remember one more thing. In the diarchy, in the year 1919, where we have diarchy system of governance, there were 2 things: the transferred subject and reserved subject. Transfer subject can be given to Indians to discuss, but reserve subject is what limited to the British people itself. Then in the Government of India 1935, we have this bicameralism, that's the introduction to parliament form of legislature. We have house. The entire house is divided into Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha as per modern terms. At that time, they used to call it as Legislative Assembly, which is the lower house, and Council of State, the upper house. The lower house has elections for 104 seats out of 144. The remaining could be nominated, I guess. And Council of State had 34 elected out of 60 seats. This was the Government of India Act 1935. Then finally, it is also called as India. Then we have in between India Independence Act 1947, the last one, before we get the independence. The British rule ends here, and India and also Pakistan became independent, but we were governed by Indian Independence Act 1947. So in this way, we were able to develop and give a framework to the constitution. Also, 1935 Government of India Act. First, one more point is that they established RBI to regulate the currency of the country, and also they had the Public Service Commission, Joint Public Service Commission, and the Council of India. Who we had this Secretary of State, right? Which here we had Secretary of State, who has been in the Government of India 1858. Remember, under the Crown, Secretary of State. He had Council of Ministers, that was removed. He only got advisors now. That we need to remember. So if you see a simple timeline, from 1600 to 1765, it was a complete trading only. Then slowly they got Diwani right. So 1765 to 1858, it was the company governing in India. Sorry, my friends. Then Crown rule began 1858 to 1947. Then self-government growth from 1909 to 1935, like Indians slowly included in the governance. 1947 was the independence. Yeah, I feel mostly as any preparation, we need to remember the Regulating Act 1773, Pitt's Act 1784, Chart Act 1833, Government of India Act 1919, and Government of India Act 1935, like one of the few important acts which we need to remember. You can take one more intake, like from 1773 to 1853, Parliament was controlling government, only the supervising, the British Parliament. 1858, the Crown takes over power, and the company only acts as a trustee for its territories in India. It works all profit owned by the company, and it works for the Majesty, for His Majesty of the Crown. The 1919, Indians share first in the power. Okay, don't forget, in the non-legislative council. 1935, we had provincial autonomy. 1947, independence. So control gradually moved to Indians. It was not a one-day task or once in a while. It slowly moved. So in this way, we were able to get a glimpse or overview of the historical development of the Constitution of India. Only we need to remember that the 1853 Act, okay, 1853 Act, they had this, not 1853, sorry, yeah, 1853 Act, they had this Governor General of India got a council, which has Legislative Council and Executive Council. Legislative has 6+6. Then it was taken up by the Crown itself. Then the GGI was converted to Viceroy. So Crown had Secretary of State, then comes Viceroy, then comes Legislative Council, Executive Council. Then in the 1861, the Viceroy further expanded his Legislative Council to Indians. And then in the Indian Council Act, we were elected. First in 1861, we were nominated, but 1909 we were elected as a non-official members. Okay. Then 1909 we were elected to the Executive Council for the first time. Then again in 1919 the diarchy system came into existence. 1935 it was abolished and bicameralism got introduced. So these few points if we need to remember, recollect, and use them in our exams or in our analysis. So I hope this audio has given you a lot of insights into historical development of the Constitution, and you were able to recollect with me. So thank you for joining in. Kindly share this video to your friends, kindly support me and study along with me. Do share your feedback, your comments, and I'm open for discussion. And let us meet soon. Thank you.